Is that fried onions? When I was a kid, the lunchroom was always a fun and kind of a weird place. Because here's the thing. My friends, they would always have regular food. Things like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Things like a cheese pizza. Things like a saltine cracker. But me, on the other hand, the lunch that my mom would provide for me was something else. She would make kadhai gosht with extra masala. That's basically like really delicious, like meat curry. She would make butter chicken with garlic naan. She would make sikh kebab with hummus. And here's the thing, don't get me wrong, the food was delicious, but some of the kids at my lunchroom table would sometimes ask me, is that fried onions? And so I'd start to feel a little bit weird. So one day, I went to my friend Marty. I said, hey, Marty. He said, yeah. I said, hey, Marty. He said, yeah. I said, hey, Marty. He said, yeah. I mean, what do you want? I said, you want to trade lunches? He said, sure. I gave him what my mama made for me, and I took what he had for him. He ate mine. He said it was delicious. He said it was the best thing that he had ever eaten in his entire life, and I opened up his lunchbox, and yes, there were saltine crackers. Yes, there was some pasta in it, but I started to miss. I started to miss the food that my mom made for me. I miss the food that my mom made for me. Why? Because it was made from her heart. It was made with spices. It was made with deliciousness. And ever since that day, I have developed an insatiable appetite for food. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Amin Asr. I am the author of Noor Kids, and I would like to thank you for joining us for today's special episode of Around the World Storytime, sponsored by Helping Hands Relief and Development, where we meet some of the most talented and amazing storytellers in the world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today we're meeting a special author. And the reason why I talked about lunch is because she has written a very special book called Lailah's Lunchbox. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming Sister Reem Faruqi. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Reem.
Walaikum salam. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. How are you, Sister Reem?
Good, good, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Now, Sister Reem, there are a lot of books behind you. Have you really read all of those books?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Now I see a really special book back there that's blue and shiny. Which one is that?
This one is my book, Lailah's Lunchbox.
Oh, actually, I wasn't talking about that one. I was talking about the Noor Kids book. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
You have your book. Sharing is caring.
I'm totally kidding. No, put that one back. Put that one back. No, we want to read Lailah's Lunchbox. Now, Sister Reem, tell us a little bit about this book that you're going to read for us. Why did you write this book? What inspired you?
So, kind of like your story a little bit, where your mom would send you food on the days that I was fasting. I missed not having my mom's food, and I needed a way to explain to my friends why I didn't have my lunchbox. So, this was a book I wrote.
Oh my goodness. Now, will you show us the cover real quick?
Yes.
Allahu Akbar. Now, as I'm looking at the cover, I see that in every corner there's a very special sticker. What are all of these stickers?
Oh, so good question. They're for awards. So one is a librarian award, American Library Association for 2016, and one is for social studies, And one is just I recently got from Daybreak Press Book Awards.
Allahu Akbar, mashallah, Sister Reem.
Yeah,
That is
so
so
excited.
amazing. And I'm really excited to hear you read this. Now, here's the thing while we're talking about lunch and while we're talking about food, and as I think back to my experience eating food, and it's Ramadan, and so of course I get a little bit hungry. I need to ask you, and I've been thinking about this for a while. I figured, you know what, I gotta get it off my chest. I have to ask Sister Reem. I have to see what's up. All right, so Sister Reem, if you could only eat butter chicken or biryani for the rest of your life, which one would you pick?
Butter chicken.
Seriously?
My brother makes really good butter chicken.
But you didn't even have to think about it. Is it really that easy a decision for you?
Well, his butter chicken is so good. It's like dessert. It's the best.
Allahu Akbar. Just the
Biryani can be hit and miss.
yeah, because you have it's so but the butter chicken's always good, and I just think about it because right now, if I had a little bit of garlic naan and some butter chicken, if I ate it and just when it goes down your throat, it's like a little bit of heaven. And Allahu Akbar, we're fasting enough, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Reem, I'd love for you to take it away. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Read from us out of your book, Layla's Lunchbox.
Thank you. So this book is written by me, Reem Faruqi, and it's illustrated by Lee Lyon, and it's published by Tilbury House Publishers. Okay. We won't be needing this for a while, said Layla's mother, hanging up Layla's lunchbox. Imagine, I won't be eating lunch for a month, replied Layla with a twirl. I won't have to pack lunch for a month, said her mom with a bigger twirl.
Such a beautiful illustration too.
And it's actually my kitchen. The illustrator
Wow.
asked for photos of my kitchen, and those are the actual spice jars I use.
Wow. Now the
Yeah,
spice jars are all full. So does that mean, Reem, that you don't actually cook that much, or? No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. That's a
that
joke.
is true. I don't like cooking as much, so
I'm totally kidding.
that is actually true. Okay. The year before, Layla had wanted to fast with her best friends Hind and Ishrat during Ramadan, but Layla's mom had insisted she was too small. Remembering that, Layla stopped twirling. She missed her friends. Moving from one continent to another had been hard. On her map in the atlas, North America and the Middle East were 10 inches apart, but in real life she was so much farther away. She wished she was only 10 inches away from her best friends. She knew the sign by the highway said, Peachtree City. You love to call it home, but she didn't agree with the sign. Abu Dhabi still felt like home.
Hmm.
Yeah. The next morning, before sunrise, Layla's mom gently nudged her. Layla, she whispered, Sehri time. Layla chomped on her chocolate chip pancakes with her eyes closed.
Chocolate chip pancakes for Sari.
Delicious, she said. Come, let's pray now, said her mom. All that
It looks
food.
amazing. Now, Reem, is this like based on your actual life?
A little bit, yes. I did move from Abu Dhabi all the way to Peachtree City, and my best friends' names are Hind and Ishrat.
Mashallah.
And the illustrator even added a beard in for the father when I told her my father has a beard.
Hmm.
Yeah. After Sehri, Layla snuggled back into her bed until her mom woke her up again, this time for school. As she left the house, her mom handed her a note. Layla, please give this note to Mrs. Penworth. Without her lunchbox to carry, her fingers felt extra free and swingy. She felt so light she skipped to the school bus stop. Sorry. There she is. On the school bus, she read her mom's note. Dear Mrs. Penworth, this will be Layla's first time fasting for the month of Ramadan, so it's an exciting time for us. Please excuse Layla from lunch for this special month. Thanks, Mrs. Malik. Layla didn't feel so bouncy anymore. What if her teacher didn't know about Ramadan? No one else would be fasting with her. She folded the note into a teeny tiny square and hid it in her book bag.
Mm,
Yeah. So, do you think she's going to give her teacher the note?
I don't know. I don't know. It seems like she's a little bit nervous.
Yes. Layla walked slowly to her class. Her throat felt dry all morning. When lunchtime arrived, she still hadn't given her teacher the note.
Mm.
Uh-oh. Layla, did you forget your lunch? Asked her teacher. Layla opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. Samantha volunteered, I'll share my lunch with Layla. Mrs. Penworth shook her head. No, thank you for the offer, Samantha, but Layla, please get a sandwich from the cafeteria. Okay.
Uh-oh.
And she's the only one without her lunchbox.
Everyone's got a lunchbox except for her.
Yep. Only one.
Seems so
Do
nervous.
you think she's going to get her sandwich?
I don't know. I'm really nervous.
And remember, her throat feels dry because she hasn't had any water and she's probably nervous, just like you're saying. Okay, 1 second. 1 second. Layla followed her classmates to the cafeteria. Layla, do you want some of my cream roll? Asked Anna. Layla thought of telling her that she was fasting, but she didn't think anyone at her school knew about Ramadan. No thanks, she started to say. I didn't bring my. Are you sure? Asked Anna, unwrapping the cream rolls. Layla watched the cream roll get smaller and smaller, and she didn't feel so sure. Cream rolls were her favorite. She looked away. Her nose still smelled food. Layla wished she had given her teacher the note. Even Isaiah's bologna sandwich looked tasty, and Layla didn't even like bologna. Her stomach rumbled. Suddenly, she had an idea. While everyone was busy eating, she sneaked out of the cafeteria and her stomach stopped growling. Hmm.
Allahu Akbar. Oh my goodness. What is Layla gonna do now?
Do you know where she's gonna go? Or do you want to make a guess?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Reem,
Somewhere with a lot of books and no food.
um, is it a library?
Yes!
Oh, nice.
Here she is.
With a nice librarian.
Yes. Why, Layla, it's a pleasure to see you. But what brings you here at lunchtime? Asked Mrs. Carmen, the librarian. Layla felt safe among all the books. She opened her mouth, and this time her words tumbled out. Layla told Mrs. Carmen that her teacher and classmates didn't know she was fasting. She told her how she missed her best friends. It felt good to tell someone all the words that had been inside her mind all morning, and especially to tell her about Ramadan. Miss Carmen understood. You must feel special to fast this Ramadan.
Alhamdulillah. She told somebody.
Yes, so she's starting to feel a little bit better. I do feel special, said Layla, but why is it so hard to explain? Hmm. You know what I always do when I can't get my thoughts out or when I feel shy about talking? Asked Mrs. Carmen. I write my thoughts down. So, what do you think Layla's going to do next?
I think she's gonna write her thoughts down.
Yes! Great guess.
Ooh, nice.
Layla got to work. She wrote neatly, adding extra loops to her capital L. She worked so hard her cheeks turned pink. Dear Mrs. Penworth, I didn't forget my lunchbox today. It's Ramadan. My mom finally let me fast. This means I won't be eating lunch for 1 month. Sincerely, Layla. P.S. I'm Muslim. P.P.S. My mom wrote you a note too. Here it is. P.P.P.S. Here's a poem I wrote about Ramadan. Ramadan is a month Muslims celebrate, a time to count our blessings and appreciate. Muslims fast before sunrise to sunset, but wait, that's not all just yet. Ramadan is a time for lots of prayer. We help the poor people to show we care. So in the day, I won't be eating any food, but hopefully we'll stay in a good mood. Layla hurried back to the cafeteria to join her class. Before school was out, she quietly dropped both notes onto her teacher's desk.
Hmm.
Think her teacher's going to see the notes now?
I hope so.
I hope so too. The next morning, Layla swung her fingers as she waited for the school bus. Would her teacher like her poem? Layla hoped her teacher didn't think she forgot her lunchbox again. She slowly climbed each step on the school bus. In class, her teacher didn't say anything, so Layla wondered what had happened. At times like this, she wished her best friends were there with her. They would know what to say. Here she is.
Hmm.
Whew, do you think her teacher saw the notes?
I don't know. I don't know. Read on. Read on.
At lunchtime, Layla's feet felt heavy. She was sure her teacher hadn't seen the notes. Everyone would think she'd forgotten her lunchbox again. As she was leaving the class, her teacher patted Layla on the back and handed her a note. Mrs. Penworth had even made the capital in Layla's name extra loopy. Dear Layla, I enjoyed your lovely poem about Ramadan. I'm impressed you're fasting. What a special time for you. You and your family must be thrilled. Would you share your poem today with the class after lunch? You can go to the library instead of the cafeteria. Mrs. Carmen is excited to see you. Sincerely, Mrs. Penworth. P.S. Miss Carmen told me you missed your friends. I hope you keep making new friends with our class.
Hmm.
She saw the note, yes. Layla twirled all the way to the library. She couldn't wait to share her Ramadan poem with her class. Later at iftar, she would celebrate this day. Yay!
Alhamdulillah.
That's
Alhamdulillah.
the end.
Oh my gosh, Layla, or Reem, that was such an amazing story. It was such an amazing story. Can
Thank
I
you.
can I tell you what I love about that story so much?
Yes.
P.S. Was that the end?
Yes, there's an
Okay.
author's note, but that is the end. It's just saying that I also moved from Abu Dhabi all the way to Peachtree City, Georgia, and I had a hard time explaining to my friends why I didn't have my lunch. So I wrote this book.
So do you still live in Peachtree City, Georgia?
My parents and my brothers live in Peachtree City. I live in Atlanta.
So my
So more.
sister lives in Noonan, which is close to Peachtree
Oh,
City, and every time we go to Georgia, we like go to Peachtree City, and people have like little golf carts that they like
yes,
will go around everywhere. It's awesome. Um,
yes.
so okay, here's the thing. I know that a lot of people are at home right now, and alhamdulillah, at least we have homes to live in. But Allahu Akbar, Sister Reem, that story, that was like my story in my life too. Because I felt the same way, and that's what good authors do. They tell stories that make people feel like they can relate. So that was so amazing.
Thank you. Your story reminded me of my story too, with your mom's yummy lunches.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. So, Sister Reem, I wanted to ask you now, um, did you have a little activity or a little question that you had for the listeners, or something that we could do together?
Yes. So Layla was nervous to tell her teacher that she was Muslim. So right now, I know many of us are at home. So, what is something that you wish your teacher knew or your parents knew? And maybe we can talk about something you wish your parents knew since you're at home spending hopefully a lot of time with them.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. Right, I'm gonna put 30 seconds on the clock, Sister Reem. All right.
Okay.
And this is gonna be a little bit of therapy for myself, perhaps a little bit of therapy for you.
Okay.
And this is the question is something that we're nervous of saying to either our parents or to our spouse. Okay, so for me, it'd be my wife, for example. Okay,
Okay.
and then we'll talk about it if you feel comfortable. If not, that's okay
Okay. I
too.
have to think something.
Well, so I'm gonna put 30 seconds on the clock, and everyone at home, I want you to do this as well. To write this down. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Okay.
All right. So that is the time. That was very quick. Um,
Yeah.
but I really like that because even the things that I wrote down, can I tell you, Sister Reem?
Yes.
Just by writing them, my heart felt better. And it was
Good.
it was
So
just like
glad.
it was just like in the story because when Layla like wrote down her feelings in the note, she
Yeah.
felt better too. And Allahu Akbar, that literally just happened. I wrote down my notes here, and now
Oh,
I feel better. Um, do you want to go
good.
first or should I?
Can you go first?
All right, I can go first. All right. So, this is something if I had a chance to talk with my mom or my dad or my wife, this is what I would tell her. Okay, this is real. You guys, this is real talk. Real talk right now with Brother Amin, all right? So, I'm a little bit scared, you guys. Let me tell you what I'm scared of. So, right now with Noor Kids, we're doing something called Dear Ramadan. And Dear
Oh,
Ramadan's amazing. It's like a daily camp that we're doing, and you can find out details on our website um, and sign up. And it's pretty cool because we're doing like challenges for families, and we have like this animated 30th juz that kids can read and learn with. And then every day I'm doing a story time. Now the thing is, Reem, like I love telling stories, but
yes. I can tell.
Alhamdulillah, thank you. But I always get scared because I want to try to come up with new stories because sometimes people are like, Amin, like I've heard this story before. And I'm like, all right, all right, all right, I get it. I mean, repetition's a good thing, but I get it. I want to come up with fresh new content. And so that makes me feel a little bit anxious. That's one thing. And then the other thing I'm a little bit anxious about is that, like, all right, so Ramadan is a time when we are supposed to really connect with Allah and
Yeah.
take time for us to just benefit. And I'll tell you, in my mind, like, imagine if someone was like, hey, there's like free money that's being given away and it's being given away for 30 days. You'd want to go and you'd want to like try to get as much as you can because, why not, right? It's like
Yes.
during this month of Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has opened his gates of mercy and it's just for us to take. We're in his banquet. We can take as much as we want out of it. And I get a little bit worried that, like, I want to take more. I want to, spend more time talking with Allah in my prayers. I want to spend more time listening to the words of Allah by reading the Quran and building a relationship with it. I want to, wake up at night and after I do my suhoor, stay up a little bit and do those things. And sometimes I get a little bit scared that I don't do enough of that. So those are the couple of things on my heart.
Those are really good and very deep.
Well, I told you it's real talk with Amin. Real talk with Amin. No, hashtag. No, I'm kidding. But Sister Reem, did you have anything you wanted to share?
Yeah, mine was not nearly as deep as yours, but mine was actually happened a few days ago. Our kitchen was a big mess, and our house, no one was putting our dishes in the sink, and they were just leaving all their mess everywhere. And I said, I wish you all knew how much work it is to run a house. And then now the children are doing a better job at taking their dishes to the sink and helping out with some more chores. So sometimes we think they know, but they don't always know. So you need to tell people what you wish they knew and what's on your mind.
That's really good. That's really good. And also, I feel like that was a message for mothers all across the world to say, take your dishes and deal with them. They don't wash
Yeah,
themselves.
yes. And now we're starting to transfer dishes to the dishwasher because my
Allahu
7 year
Akbar.
old the other day was like, hey, we're making a tower of dishes here in the sink. I was like, oh, no, we're not.
So wait, hold on. I didn't really know about this. Wait, so Reem, you're telling me that when we take the dishes and put them in the sink, they don't wash themselves?
No,
They
someone
don't?
needs to move the tower of dishes into the
See,
dishwasher.
I always assumed that like you just put it in the sink. Some like at night, some hocus pocus happens, and even with my clothes. So you're telling me that if I just like when you leave your clothes, they don't just magically come up on in the closet?
Maybe you have a Ramadan for that.
No, I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. All right. So, Sister Reem, I wanted to do one last thing. All right. I had asked you a question earlier today, and it was a would you rather question. I love would you rather questions. Why do I love them so much? Because it makes me think and it makes me have fun, and I think that they're generally pretty funny questions. And so I thought it'd be funny if I came up with one or two would you rather questions, and you came up with one or two would you rather questions, and then we could ask each other. And also, by the way, if you're watching, maybe during iftar today, this is something you could ask your family and engage in some really fun conversation. So, let me ask you a question, Sister Reem. Would you rather live in the biggest house in the world, but have no neighbors?
Hmm.
Or would you rather live in a small house that is filled with neighbors?
Like neighbors next to my small house?
I mean, close enough that you can play with.
Okay, I think I'm going to say the small house because I like having time with my neighbors, and the big house, somebody needs to clean it. A smaller house is easier to take care of.
Man, that was a very unique take on this. And but I just want to say, P.S. Social distancing, ladies and gentlemen, boys and
Oh
girls. We
yeah.
have to social distance. But anyways, now that we got out of that out of the way, um, so what is your question for me? And by the way, before you tell me that question, I just want
Okay.
to share with the audience, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank Helping Hands Relief and Development who are supporting this effort. Because of them, we're able to put this together. And so, alhamdulillah, rabbil alameen. Thank you, Helping Hands, for your support. Sister Reem,
Yes. Okay. Would you rather be a frog for one day of the month or a bird for every day of the year?
a frog for one day of the month or a bird
Yeah.
every day in the year? I would
Ah,
be a.
hold on. I'm gonna plug in my computer. Sorry.
Oh, no
I,
worries. Um,
I,
you guys, that's the fun part about filming or doing live programs because things like this happens. Now, what's gonna happen next? Allahu Akbar. No, but
my
so
goodness.
okay, all right.
A bird,
Thank
I made a
goodness.
mistake. It's a bird every one day of the month or a frog one day of the week.
Okay, got it.
That was it.
So I would I would pick a bird one day of the month. And the reason why I would do that is because it's only one day out of 30 days versus like one out of 7 days, right? Because like, when you do the math and that's like, 4 days I'm a frog, and also because I think it'd actually be cool to be a bird, more
Yeah.
than a frog. Um,
Uh,
all right, so let me ask you one more question, Sister Reem.
okay.
Would you rather um would you rather be the best player on the worst team or the worst player on the best team?
Ugh, that's a hard one. Okay, this one I need to think about. Would it be the best player on the worst team or the worst player on the best team? I almost think I would. I almost think I would want to be the best player on the worst team because if I was the worst player on the best team, I would just feel so bad for my team.
Oh my gosh. Because you would feel like you're bringing everyone down.
Yes.
Oh,
Would-
interesting. Yeah, I would rather be the worst player on the best team.
That's the thing. That's a good answer. I would also, could I be both?
Nope, you can only pick one. Sorry. I mean, I didn't write the rules of this game. I'm just playing by that. Actually, I did also write the rules of this game, and the rules say you gotta pick. So here's
Yeah.
the reason why I would pick being the worst player on the best team, and the reason why, Sister Reem, is because if I'm the worst player on the best team, then that means I have people who can help make me better, right? So I can improve,
Good
and
point.
I've always felt like someone told me like you always want to have even friends who like you look at who like make you
Yeah.
better. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I like it.
Change my answer then. That was a really good point.
No, I'm sorry, you can't. I've already written it down, and the world knows it.
Uh,
So the record is what the record is. Sister Reem, sorry. All right, Sister Reem, do you have any more for us, or is that it for you?
One. Would you
Ooh.
rather live in a hot air balloon or a submarine for
Mm,
1 year?
um. Gosh. So
You have food and drinks being delivered to you.
okay. So now here's a situation. I would have normally said hot air balloon. All right.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's less claustrophobic. Claustrophobic means like if you're in one room for a very long time, then you'd start to feel a little bit like, boxed in. But I would
Wow.
pick submarine. And the reason why I'd pick submarine is for two reasons. Number one is this: I went diving once in Thailand. And let me tell you, it was one of the best experiences of my life. Seeing the world from under the sea, it's amazing. I mean, you see all of these beautiful different things, but also number two, I'm really scared of heights. So if like that hot air balloon got really high, I would be so scared that I'm like, Allah, like I don't want to fall. But with the submarine, I can just like go up. I don't have to worry about falling.
That's a good point. I think I would probably choose hot air balloon because I like the sky. But if you're scared of heights, then I think you should choose submarine for sure.
So, Sister Reem Faruqi, if boys and girls who listen to this were like, Allahu Akbar, this story, Layla's Lunchbox, is amazing. And they want to add it to their collection.
Yes.
Where would they be able to find it?
So, this book is in a lot of libraries. I know the libraries are closed, so you could get it online. There is Amazon, but if you also want to support your bookstores, smaller bookstores have this book too. I would just maybe give them a call and check if they have it. Even Muslim stores online have it too.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, join me in thanking Sister Reem Faruqi for joining us during this wonderful Around the World story time sponsored by Helping Hands Relief and Development.
Thank you.
Inshallah. Say that again?
Oh, thank you for being such good listeners.
Alhamdulillah, we've got amazing listeners. So, inshallah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we will be seeing you at the same place at the same time tomorrow with another fabulous, talented author. This is me, Amin Asr, author of Noor Kids, signing off. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.